Dear children, welcome to this channel. We have come to the end of this chapter, complex number. Yes, in this video we are going to see about the last exercise 2.9, which are objective questions. Let us start with the exercise 2.9 in this video. First question, I power n plus I power n plus 1 plus I power n plus 2 plus I power n plus 3 is dash. And options are 0, 1, minus 1 and I. And you know that sum of consecutive integer powers of I will be equal to 0. So what is the answer for this option? That is equal to 0. That is option number 1 is the correct answer. Second one, the value of sigma n is equal to 1 to 13 I power n plus I power n minus 1 is dash, and the options are 1 plus I, 1 and 0. Now let us see what is the summation of the given expression I power n plus I power n minus 1 up to 13 terms. So substituting n is equal to 1, I power 1 plus I power 0. This will be I power 1 plus I power 0. By substituting n is equal to 2, this will be I squared plus I power 1. And then substituting n is equal to 3, we have I cube plus I squared. Likewise, last term will be I power 13 plus I power 12. Now how to find its value? Let us group the first terms together and the second terms together. Grouping the first terms, we have I power 1 plus I squared plus I cube plus etc. to I power 13. And here this is I power 0 plus I power 1 plus I power 2 etc. to I power 12. Again, here 13 terms are there. So leaving I power 13, let us group from starting from I to I power 12 in 4 as 4s. So group them in 4s so that the sum of the terms will be 0. As this condition holds good, that is I power n plus I power n plus 1 plus I power n plus 2 plus I power n plus 3 is equal to 0. I squared, I cube, I power 4 will be 0. Likewise, the next 4 terms will be 0 and the sum of the next 4 terms will be 0. So what would be the remaining term in the first bracket? I power 13. Likewise here, again here 13 terms are there. So leaving I power 0, we can group them into 4 as 4s so that the summation will be 0. So the remaining term is I power 0. Now I power 13 means it can be split up as I power 12 into 1. I power 12 being 1, it will be I, and I power 0 is 1. So what is the answer for this question? 1 plus I. It is given in the first option. So the answer is option number 1, 1 plus I. Then question number 3. The area of the triangle formed by the complex numbers Z, IZ, Z plus IZ in Argand diagram is dash. Options are half modulus of Z squared, modulus of Z squared, 3 by 2 modulus of Z squared and 2 into modulus of Z squared. Now you know that we did a problem like we did this the same similar problem as an exercise as well as in the example. So let us take Z to be a complex number in the first quadrant and IZ will be rotated through an angle 90 degree in the anti-clockwise direction. So it will come in the second quadrant. And by completing the parallelogram, the summation, the fourth vertex will represent Z plus IZ. Now OZ represents its modulus Z and OIZ represent modulus of IZ, that is also equal to Z. So as it is a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. So this will be modulus of Z and this will be modulus of IZ. Now what would be the area of the triangle? This area of the triangle will be half into base into H, as this is 90 degree, this is also 90 degree and the two sides are equal. So this represents an isosceles right triangle. So its area will be half into base into height. So that is half into base is also base is root modulus of Z and height is modulus of IZ. Modulus of IZ is also equal to modulus of Z. So this would be equal to modulus half into modulus of Z squared. So which option suits this answer? First option. So answer for the third question is first option number 1, that is half into modulus of Z squared. The conjugate of a complex number is 1 by I minus 2, then the complex number is dash. Options are 1 by I plus 2, minus 1 by I plus 2, minus 1 by I minus 2 and 1 by I minus 2. So the complex number, given complex number 1 by I minus 2 is a conjugate of some complex number. You know that conjugate of a conjugate gives a complex number itself. That is z bar, the whole bar is equal to z. So by taking z bar as the given complex number 1 by minus 2 plus I, and again if you take conjugate for this one, you will get z. So what is the conjugate of the given complex number 1 by minus 2 plus I? Conjugate of the numerator is 1 and the conjugate of the denominator is minus 2 minus I. So this will be our z. So taking minus common outside, z will be equal to minus 1 by 2 plus I, and this is nothing but second option. So the answer for this question is second option, minus 1 by I plus 2. Fifth question. If z is equal to root 3 plus I the whole cube into 3i plus 4 the whole square divided by 8 plus 6i the whole square, then mod z is equal to, what are the options? 0, 1, 2 and 3 are the options given. So let us find out modulus of the given complex number z by taking whole modulus and using the property modulus of z1 by z2 is equal to modulus of z1 by modulus of z2. Again in the numerator you have product of two numbers. So modulus of z1 z2 is equal to modulus of z1 into modulus of z2. Again the complex number has the power. So modulus of z power n is equal to modulus of z to the whole power n. So combining three properties we have modulus of z is equal to modulus of root 3 plus I the whole cube into modulus of 3i plus 4 the whole square by modulus of 8 plus 6i the whole square. So here three properties have been used. Now what is the modulus of root 3 plus I? Root 3 plus 1, root of 3 plus 1 and the whole cube here, and here root of 9 plus 16 and the whole square, and this modulus of 8 plus 6i is root of 64 plus 36 and that is square, so you have to square it. So root of 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 cube, root 4 means 2, 2 cube is 8, again 9 plus 16 is 25, root 25 the whole square is 25, again root 100 the whole square is 100, and then after simplifying this we will get the answer as 2. So which option suits this answer? Question number 5 means option 3. Option 3. So the answer for the question 5 is option 3, which is 2. Then sixth one. If z is a non-zero complex number such that 2i z squared is equal to mod z, 2i z squared is equal to z bar, then mod z is dash. Options are 1 by 2, 1, 2 and 3. So what is the given condition? 2i z squared is equal to z bar. We need modulus of z. So let us take modulus of z, modulus on both sides. So modulus of 2i z squared is equal to modulus of 2 into modulus of I into modulus of z squared, and right hand side modulus of z bar. Then 2 is a real number, its modulus is 2, modulus of I is 1 and modulus of z squared is modulus of z to the whole square, and modulus of z bar and modulus of z being the same, we can replace it by modulus of z. As z is a non-zero complex number, modulus of z will not be equal to 0. So dividing throughout by modulus of z, we have modulus of z squared by modulus of z is equal to, moving this it will be 1 by 2, and hence modulus of z is equal to 1 by 2. So the option 1 suits is the answer for this question 6. If modulus of z minus 2 plus I is less than or equal to 2, the greatest value of modulus of z is dash. Options are root 3 minus 2, root 3 plus 2, root 5 minus 2, root 5 plus 2. So we did a similar problem in the example as well as in exercise. Likewise, we can do this problem to get the greatest value. So take z1 to be this z and minus 2 plus I as z2. So using this inequality, reverse inequality, whole modulus of z1 minus modulus of z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus z2. Using this inequality, let us replace z1 by z. So what will be modulus of z1? That is modulus of z, and z2 will be modulus of z2 will be modulus of minus 2 plus I is less than or equal to, again replacing z1 and z2, we have modulus of z minus 2 plus I. But this modulus of z minus 2 plus I is given as less than or equal to 2. So we can replace this quantity by less than or equal to 2. Now whole modulus of z minus, this modulus is root 5, is less than or equal to 2. If a modulus of a quantity is less than or equal to 2 means, then this quantity lies between its negative to positive value. That means modulus of z minus root 5 lies between minus 2 to plus 2. So as the greatest value is needed, let us take this part alone. So modulus of z minus 5 is less than or equal to 2, or modulus is less than or equal to 2 plus root 5. So what is the greatest value of mod z? 2 plus root 5, and this is nothing but option number 4. So answer for question number 7 is option number 4, root 5 plus 2. Then question number 8. If modulus of z minus 3 by z is equal to 2, then the least value of mod z is dash. Options are 1, 2, 3 and 5. So it is similar to 7th one. So take z1 as z and z2 as minus 3 by z. Again using this inequality, whole modulus of mod z1 minus mod z2 is less than or equal to modulus of z1 plus z2. Replacing z1 and z2 as z and minus 3 by z, we have whole modulus of z minus 3 by z. Modulus of minus 3 by z is less than or equal to modulus of z minus 3 by z. And this is modulus of minus 3 by z is nothing but 3 by modulus of z, and this is given as, its value is given as 2, so we can replace it by 2. Again modulus of a quantity is less than or equal to 2. This means that this quantity lies between minus 2 to plus 2. So minus 2 less than or equal to mod z minus 3 by modulus of z is less than or equal to 2. But we need the least value, so let us take the first part of the inequality. So minus 2 less than or equal to mod z minus 3 by modulus of z. So let us multiply throughout by modulus of z, and therefore we have minus 2 into modulus of z is less than or equal to mod z squared minus 3. Let us move this 2z minus 2 into modulus of z to this side and minus 3 to opposite side. So you have 3 less than or equal to modulus of z squared plus 2 into modulus of z. So let us add 1 on both sides. So adding 1, we have 4 is less than or equal to modulus of z squared plus 2 into modulus of z plus 1, which is nothing but modulus of z plus 1 the whole square. So taking square root, we have modulus of z plus 1 is greater than or equal to 2, or modulus of z is greater than or equal to 1. So what is the least value of modulus of z? 1, which is nothing but first option. So the answer for the 8th question is option number 1. Answer is 1. Then question number 9. If modulus of z is equal to 1, then the value of 1 plus z by 1 plus z bar is dash. Options are z, z bar, 1 by z and 1. See, whenever you come across this condition modulus of z is equal to 1, immediately you can write its whole square is also equal to 1, or z bar equal to 1 and z bar is equal to 1 by z. So when modulus of z is equal to 1, you have to use this condition z bar is 1 by z, or z is equal to 1 by z bar according to the problem. So here also let us use this condition modulus of z is equal to 1 to get z bar as 1 by z. So let us replace z bar as 1 by z in the given expression. So 1 plus z by 1 plus z bar is equal to 1 plus z by 1 plus 1 by z. Now taking LCM, it will be 1 plus z by z. So cancelling this 1 plus z and moving this numerator to the numerator, you will get the answer as z. So what is the option? Option 1 is the answer for the 9th one. So option 1 answer is z. Then coming to the 10th. The solution of the equation modulus of z minus z is equal to 1 plus 2y is dash. Options are 3 by 2 minus 2y and minus 3 by 2 plus 2y, 2 minus 3 by 2y and 2 plus 3 by 2y. So you have to substitute z as x plus iy in this equation and then get the value of x and y, and then that will be the solution for this given equation. Okay. So let us take z as x plus iy. So what would be modulus of z? Root of x squared plus y squared. Now replacing the z and modulus of z by these values in the given equation, we have root of x squared plus y squared minus of x plus iy is equal to 1 plus 2y. So this is a complex number and this is a complex number, and both are equal means the real part and imaginary parts would be equal. So equating the real and imaginary parts, we have root of x squared plus y squared minus x is equal to 1 and minus iy is equal to 2, minus y is equal to 2. So from this equation we can get the value of y as minus 2. Now if you look at the options, imaginary part is z, that means x plus iy means y refers to the imaginary part. So imaginary part is minus 2. If you look at the options, except the first option, other options have other than the imaginary part is other than this minus 2. So without finding the real part, even you can choose the answer as option number 1. So if you want to get the real part 2, we can substitute y as minus 2 here to get the value of x. On substituting y squared as minus 2, y as minus 2, y squared will become 4. Root of x squared plus 4 is equal to, moving this, it will become 1 plus x. To get rid of this square root, let us square on both sides. So 1 plus x the whole squared on under expansion gives 1 plus x squared plus 2x. So x squared and x squared will get cancelled. Or 2x is equal to 3, x is equal to 3 by 2. So what would be z now? 3 by 2 minus 2y. So which option is correct? First option. 11th one. If modulus of z1 equal to 1, modulus of z2 is equal to 2 and mod z3 is equal to 3 and modulus of 9 z1 z2 plus 4 z1 z3 plus z2 z3 is equal to 12, then the value of modulus of z1 plus z2 plus z3 is dash. Options are 1, 2, 3 and 4. So as the modulus of z1 is equal to 1, we can rewrite modulus of that is z1 bar is equal to 1 by z1. Similarly, z2 bar will be, as the modulus of z2 is 2, whole square will be 4. So z2 bar will be 4 by z2 and z3 bar will be, its square is 9, so 9 by z3. So in order to find this value, let us take its conjugate, because we can replace conjugate by the reciprocal. That's why, and modulus of z and modulus of z bar are equal. So we are taking modulus of z1 plus z2 plus z3 is equal to modulus of z1 plus z2 plus z3 the whole bar. And by the rule of conjugate, it will be expressed as modulus of z1 bar plus z2 bar plus z3 bar, and z1 bar is replaced by 1 by z1 and z2 bar is replaced by 4 by z2 and z3 bar is replaced by 9 by z3. I have left one step. Directly I have written as it is a 1 mark. Then taking LCM z1, z2, z3, it will be here you have to multiply z2, z3 and here you have to multiply z1, z3 and here you have to multiply it by z1, z2. So again applying the property of modulus, modulus of the numerator divided by modulus of the denominator. Again modulus of the denominator can be split up as modulus of z1 into modulus of z2 into modulus of z3, and then replacing their values you will get the answer as 2. So which option suits this question? Option 2. So the answer for the 11th problem is option 2. Then 12th one. If z is a complex number such that z belongs to c minus r and z plus 1 by z belongs to r, then modulus of z is dash. Options are 0, 1, 2 and 3. So what does this mean? Z belongs to c minus r means, minus r means r refers to real number and c represents a complex number. That means purely all the real numbers have been taken out, only complex number is given, means z have both the imaginary part and real part. Imaginary part won't be 0. That is the meaning for this. And here z plus 1 by z belongs to r means z plus 1 by z is purely real. It has no imaginary part. That is the meaning for this symbol. Okay. Now we can do this by two ways. That is, one is a logical proof, and if you want to have a solid proof, I will also explain that. Logically we can find the answer. We can give a proof for this. That is, you know that if modulus of z is equal to 1 means z bar will be equal to 1 by z. That is understood. If modulus of z is equal to 1 means then z bar will be 1 by z. So z plus 1 by z, if we take 1 by z as z bar, then what happened to z plus 1 by z? It will become z plus z bar. You know that by adding a real conjugate, a complex number and its conjugate, it will be equal to 2 times that real part. So z plus z bar will be 2 times the real part of z. Already given that z plus 1 by z belongs to r. So even by replacing 1 by z as z bar, it won't get changed. That is, the condition will not get changed. There is no change in the given condition. That means that we can apply 1 by z as z bar. When this is possible, modulus of z is equal to 1. So what would be the modulus of z? It will be equal to 1. So that is option number 2. So this is a logical proof. So if you are not able to understand this, means let us give a solid proof for that. Okay. So as z plus 1 by z belongs to r, it is purely real. So when a complex number is real means its conjugate and its number itself will be equal. So z plus 1 by z the whole bar equal to z plus 1 by z. So applying the property of the conjugate, it will be z bar plus 1 by z bar. Okay. Now let us replace z as x plus iy. So what is z bar? X minus iy and 1 by x minus iy equal to x plus iy plus 1 by x plus iy. That means I have replaced z as x plus iy and z bar its conjugate as x minus iy. Again x and x get cancelled. Moving this term to this side and minus iy to opposite side, you will have 1 by x minus iy minus of 1 by x plus iy equal to 2iy. Again on under simplification, again the denominator will be the product of these two and the numerator will be the difference of these two. So x plus iy minus of x minus iy will become minus x plus iy. Again here plus x and minus x get cancelled. So 2iy by x square plus y square is equal to 2iy. So again these two get cancelled. That means we can divide it by y, as y is not equal to 0. Z belongs to C minus R means y will be there. It is not a purely real number. That means it will have an imaginary part. So y will not be equal to 0. That's why we have divided by y. And hence we have x square plus y square is equal to 1. What is x square plus y square? That is nothing but modulus of z square. So modulus of z is equal to 1. So this is a solid proof for this question. Okay. So the option, which option suits the 12th one? Second option. That is answer is 1 and option is 2. Now let us see the 13th one. Z1, Z2 and Z3 are complex numbers such that Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 equal to 0 and modulus of Z1, modulus of Z2 and modulus of Z3 equal to 1. Then Z1 squared plus Z2 squared plus Z3 squared is dash. Options are 3, 2, 1 and 0. So as usual, modulus of Z1 is equal to 1 implies Z1 bar will be 1 by Z1. Similarly, Z2 bar is equal to 1 by Z2, Z3 bar is equal to 1 by Z3. Now let us use the given condition Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 equal to 0. So what we will do in this case, let us divide throughout by Z, the product of the complex number Z1, Z2 and Z3. As they are non-zero complex number and their modulus is 1 and we can divide it by, since their modulus is 1, they will be non-zero complex number. So we can divide by the product of Z1, Z2 and Z3. So by splitting this as a summation of 3 terms, Z1 by Z1 into Z2, Z3 and this Z2 by Z1 into Z2, Z3 and plus Z3 by Z1 into Z2 into Z3 equal to 0 as Z1, Z2, Z3 is a common denominator. Again cancelling this, we will have 1 by Z2 Z3 and this will be 1 by Z1 Z3 and this will be 1 by Z2 Z1. 1 by Z2 is nothing but Z2 bar and 1 by Z3 is Z3 bar. So let us replace that one so that you will have modulus of Z2 Z3 bar plus Z1 bar Z3 bar plus Z2 bar into Z1 bar equal to 0. Again by the property of modulus, conjugate, it will be equal to Z2 Z3 plus Z1 Z3 plus Z2 Z1 the whole bar equal to 0. So conjugate is a non-zero. Conjugate is 0 means surely its complex number is also 0. So this implies that Z2 Z3 plus Z1 Z3 plus Z2 Z1 is also equal to 0. Now we have to show that Z1 squared plus Z2 squared plus Z3 squared, the value of this one is we have to find out. Okay. So where we come across is Z1 squared plus Z2 squared plus Z3 squared means by squaring Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 you will get this one. Okay. So let us square Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3. So using A plus B plus C the whole squared, we have the expansion as Z1 squared plus Z2 squared plus Z3 squared plus 2 Z1 Z2 plus 2 Z2 Z3 plus 2 Z3 Z1. Again taking 2 common and this value is found as 0 here. So it will be substituted as 0. So Z1 square plus Z2 square plus Z3 square alone will be the right hand side. And what happened to the left hand side? It is given as Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 is given as 0. So that is also 0. So what is the value of Z1 square plus Z2 square plus Z3 square? That is also equal to 0. So option 4 is the correct answer. Option 4, 0 is the correct answer. Okay. Then question number 14. If Z minus 1 by Z plus 1 is purely imaginary, then modulus of Z is dash. What are the options? 1 by 2, 1, 2 and 3. So what does this implies? Z minus 1 by Z plus 1 purely imaginary implies its real part is 0. So let us take that real part of Z minus 1 by Z plus 1 as 0. By taking this as a condition and by substituting Z as x plus iy, let us see what happened and then what would be the modulus. So what happened and finally let us get a modulus of Z. Okay. So let us take Z is equal to x plus iy. First let us find out z minus 1 by z plus 1. So substituting z as x plus iy, it will become x plus iy minus 1 by x plus iy plus 1. So grouping the real terms, it will be x minus 1 plus iy divided by x plus 1 plus iy. Again, in order to make it in the rectangular form, let us multiply and divide it by its conjugate, x plus 1 minus iy. Okay. So the product of the denominator is x plus 1 the whole squared plus y squared, that because they are the conjugate to each other. And then using the rule of multiplication, real into real, x minus 1 into x plus 1, then minus imaginary into imaginary, that is y into minus y squared. Already there is 1 minus, so it will become plus y squared, plus I into real into imaginary into real, that is y into x plus 1, plus imaginary into real, that is x minus 1 into minus y is minus y into x minus 1. But we need only the real part. As z minus 1 by z plus 1 is purely imaginary, the real part will be 0. So taking the real part alone and equate it to 0, we are going to get the required condition. That is x minus 1 into x plus 1 is nothing but x squared minus 1 plus y squared, and this will be multiplied with 0, it will become 0. And then moving this 1 to opposite side, you will have x squared plus y squared equal to 1. This is the locus of z. This is nothing but modulus of z squared. So taking square root, we have modulus of z is equal to 1. So option 2 is the answer for this question number 14. Then question number 15. If z is equal to x plus iy is a complex number such that modulus of z plus 2 is equal to modulus of z minus 2, then the locus of z is dash. Options are real axis, imaginary axis, ellipse and circle. What is the given condition? Modulus of z plus 2 is equal to modulus of z minus 2. So by substituting z as x plus iy and using in this condition, let us find out what would be the locus of z. Okay. So substitute z as x plus iy here. So it will become modulus of x plus iy plus 2, and here it will be x plus iy minus 2. So modulus means you will have square root. To get rid of the square root, let us square here. So let us square. On squaring, you will have modulus of x plus 2 plus iy the whole square, and here grouping that modulus of x minus 2 plus iy the whole square. So it's a modulus of whole square means that is nothing but x plus 2 squared plus y square, and here it is x minus 2 the whole square plus y square. Y square and y square get cancelled, and expand x plus 2 the whole square as x squared plus 4 plus 4x. And here on expanding x minus 2 the whole square, you get x squared plus 4 minus 4x. Again x square and 4 get cancelled, and moving this minus 4x to opposite side, we have 8x is equal to 0, that is x is equal to 0. X is equal to 0 is nothing but equation of y-axis. Here in the complex plane, y-axis is referred as imaginary axis. So what is the locus of z according to the given condition? Locus of z is nothing but imaginary axis, which is the second option. 16th sum. The principal argument of 3 by minus 1 plus I is dash. Options are minus 5 pi by 6, minus 2 pi by 3, minus 3 pi by 4 and minus pi by 2. So the given complex number 3 by 1 minus 1 plus I is not in the rectangular form. So let us find out, let us convert this to rectangular form by multiplying the and dividing by the conjugate of the denominator. So what is the conjugate of the denominator? Minus 1 minus I. So on multiplying and dividing by minus 1 and minus I, we have the numerator as 3 into minus 1 minus I, and the denominator will be minus 1 the whole square, that is 1 square, and then again 1 square plus 1 square. So 1 square plus 1 square is equal to 2. So leave this 3 by 2 and take this complex number as minus 1 minus I alone. So what would be the, to find the principal argument, you need to find alpha first. What is alpha? Alpha will be tan inverse of y by x. So tan inverse of, we can leave this 3 by 2. So we can take alone minus 1 minus I. So tan inverse of minus 1 divided by minus 1, that is nothing but tan inverse of 1 pi by 4. And minus 1 minus I means which lies in which quadrant? Third quadrant. For third quadrant, theta, the principal argument will be given by alpha minus pi. So pi by 4 minus pi, that is equal to minus 3 pi by 4. So option number 3. So option number 3 has the answer minus 3 pi by 4. The answer for the question 16 is option 3. Then question number 17. The principal argument of sin 40 plus I cos 40 the whole power 5 is dash. Options are minus 110 degree, minus 70 degree, 70 degree and 110 degree. See, the given complex number is in the polar form with some power. Okay, it is not in the rectangular form. To find out the argument, principal argument. So let us see what happened to this if it is in the given in this way. So sin 40 plus I cos 40 the whole power 5 means usually if the real part is sin and imaginary part is cos, what we do, we'll take I outside and we'll then apply the de Moivre's theorem. But here the angle is 40, that is 40, the angle is given as 40 number. So what can we do? We can easily replace it by cos by the complementary law, that is sin 40 is equal to cos 50. So 50 and 40 are complement to each other. So we can replace sin 40 by cos 50. Likewise, cos 40 can be replaced as sin 50. So that instead of taking I outside, this complex number can be replaced in the proper form. Okay. So cos 40 plus I sin 50. And then whole power 5, applying de Moivre's theorem, it will be 5 into 50, that is 250. Cos 250 plus I sin 250. Then cos 250 plus I sin 250, instead of converting this into rectangular form, let us see what happened. We can find out the principal argument directly. Cos 250 plus I sin 250 means this complex number lies in which quadrant? Third quadrant, 250. That is, it is greater than 180 and less than 270. So this one lies in the third quadrant. So this Z, if you take this as Z lies in the third quadrant, and this is angle 250. Okay. Now, so 250 means 180, and this will be nothing but 250 minus 180. So this angle is nothing but 70 degree, and the remaining will be 110. And then if Z lies in the third quadrant, we will take this as alpha, and this with the principal argument theta should be measured in the negative direction, because for principal argument theta should not exceed pi. So it will be less than or equal to pi. So if for a complex number lies in the third and fourth quadrant, angle should be measured in the negative direction. So I have explained this in the polar form while explaining the polar form. So if it is alpha, this will be theta, and hence we will take this theta as minus pi minus of pi minus alpha. So here this alpha is nothing but 70 degree, because the entire is 250 means 180 to 250 minus 180, this will be 70 degree. So the remaining will be 110, and hence theta will be equal to minus of 110 as it is measured in the negative direction. So principal argument is equal to minus 110 degree, or even you can replace that 180 minus alpha is 70, you will have minus 110. So what is the principal argument of this one? Minus 110, which is option number 1. Then 18th one. If a product of 1 plus I, 1 plus 2i, 1 plus 3 etc. to 1 plus ni is equal to x plus iy, then 2 into 5 into 10 into etc. 1 plus n squared is dash. Options are 1 I, x squared plus y squared, and the 1 plus n squared. So we have given this product of the complex numbers is equal to another complex number x plus iy. So let us take modulus on both sides. So on taking modulus, we have modulus of 1 plus I into 1 plus 2y etc. to 1 plus ni is equal to modulus of x plus iy. So again, using the property of modulus, it can be split up as modulus of 1 plus I into modulus of 1 plus 2y etc. to 1 plus modulus of 1 plus ni equal to modulus of x plus iy. Then what is modulus of 1 plus I? That is nothing but root of 1 square plus 1 square, that is root 2, and here root of 1 square plus 2 square, that is root 5 etc. Root of 1 square plus n square, that is simply root of 1 plus n square, and here it is root of x square plus y square. To get rid of the square root, let us square on both sides. So we have 2 into 5 into etc. 1 plus n squared equal to x squared plus y squared. So the value of this left hand side is asked. So what is its value? X squared plus y squared, and x squared plus y squared is nothing but option number 3. So the answer for question number 18 is option number 3, x squared plus y squared. Then 19th. If omega not equal to 1 is a cubic root of unity, and 1 plus omega the whole power 7 is equal to a plus b omega, then what is the value of a and b? Options are 1, 0, minus 1, 1, 0, 1 and 1, 1. So we are going to find out what would be the value of a and b. That means you have to express 1 plus omega power 7 as a constant plus some omega term, so that a and b value will be equal to either one of the option. Okay. So it is given as cube root of unity. Omega is given as cubic root of unity. So whenever you have the word cubic root of unity, you may immediately you can write omega cube is equal to 1, and the sum of all the 3 cube roots, that is 1 plus omega squared is equal to 0. So From this one, we can equate either 1 plus omega as minus omega squared, or 1 plus omega squared as minus omega, or omega plus omega squared is equal to minus 1. So here we need 1 plus omega in the bracket. So what is 1 plus omega? That is equal to minus omega squared. So 1 plus omega the whole power 7 will be minus omega squared the whole power 7. So minus of whole power 7 will be minus, and omega squared the whole power 7 is omega power 14. Omega power 14 means as it is a cube root of unity, it can be split up as 14, omega power 14, as it is a cube root of unity. What is we can split this as a multiples of 3, that is 12 plus 2. So omega power 12 into omega squared. Omega power 12 is nothing but multiples of 3, so its value will be 1. So remaining will be omega squared. So that is nothing but minus omega squared. Again minus omega squared means again we can replace it as 1 plus omega. So why we are replacing as 1 plus omega? Because we need in this form. Okay, so we are rewrite omega squared as 1 plus omega. So what is the value of A? The value of A is 1, and the coefficient of omega, that is B, is also equal to 1. So which option suits this? A and A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1 means fourth option. So the answer for the 19th problem is fourth option 1, 1. In question number 20, the principal argument of the complex number 1 plus I root 3 the whole squared by 4i into 1 minus I root 3 is dash. Options are 2 pi by 3, pi by 6, 5 pi by 6, pi by 2. So let us rewrite the given complex number in the standard form, rectangular form. Okay. So the numerator is expanding it in the using the identity a plus b the whole square. It will be 1 plus 3i squared plus 2 root 3i. And the denominator, let us multiply I inside. So 4 into I minus I squared into root 3. Now I squared being minus 1, it will become I plus root 3. So root 3 plus I. And again here I squared is minus 1. So 1 minus 3 plus 2 root 3i. That is nothing but minus 2 plus 2 root 3i divided by 4 into root 3 plus I. Again taking 2 common outside and cancelling it with 4. We have the numerator as minus 1 plus I root 3 divided by 2 into root 3 plus I. So again still it is not in the standard form. So let us multiply and divide by the conjugate of the denominator. So the conjugate of the denominator is root 3 minus I. So what happened to the denominator now? 2 into root 3 plus I into root 3 minus I is nothing but 3 plus 1. Square root of root 3 is 3. So 3 plus 1. And then again using the rule of multiplication, real into real, that is minus 1 into minus root 3 is minus root 3. Then minus imaginary into imaginary, root 3 into minus 1 is minus root 3. So again already we have 1 minus, so it will become plus root 3 plus I into root 3 into root 3 is 3, and minus 1 into minus 1 is plus 1. So minus root 3 and root 3 get cancelled. We have 4i and divided by 8. That is again I by 2. So it is purely imaginary. So where will this point lie? Exactly in this imaginary axis. That is purely imaginary and positive. So it lies in the positive imaginary axis. So what is the angle here? 90 degree. So the principal argument is pi by 2. So instead of finding out alpha etc., as it lies, it is purely imaginary and lies in the negative imaginary, positive imaginary axis. We can write the principal argument as pi by 2. What is the answer for this question number 20? Pi by 2, which is option number 4. So option number 4, pi by 2 is the answer for question. Question number 21. If alpha and beta are the roots of the equation x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0, then alpha power 2020 plus beta power 2020 is dash. Options are minus 2, minus 1, 1 and 2. So first of all, you have to find out the value of alpha and beta, which are the roots of the given equation. So let us solve this equation to get the value of alpha and beta. X squared plus x1 is equal to 0 means this quadratic equation cannot be factorized. So you have to apply the formula minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2. So b is 1, so minus 1 minus b plus or minus root of b squared is 1 minus 4ac. 4 into a is also 1, c is also 1, so 4 divided by 2a, that is 2. And then root of 1 minus 4 is minus 3. Root of minus 3 means we can write it as I root 3 minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2. So if you see that the root, one will be alpha and other one will be beta. So what is, if we take alpha as minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2 and beta as minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2, you can note that this minus 1 plus I root 3 by 2 is nothing but cube root of unity omega, and minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2 is nothing but another root, cube root of unity omega square, where the third root will be 1. So instead of, to get the power of alpha power 2020, we can take alpha as omega and beta as omega squared, as they are the cube roots of the value of cube roots of unity. So alpha power 2020 plus beta power 2020 now become omega power 2020 and plus omega squared to the power 2020. Let us find out what would be its value first. Okay. So omega power 2020 is equal to, we have to multiply, we have to express it as a multiples of 3 and then the remainder. So it is nothing but a multiple of 673 plus 1. The remainder is 1. So it will be 1. The value will be 1. So it will, the remainder is 1. That is, we have to, it will be omega power 1. The value will be omega power 1 finally. So what is the answer for omega power 2020? It is omega. So this is nothing but omega. Here the same value but is omega squared to the power 2020 means we can interchange this. So it will be omega power 2020 the whole square. So what is the value of omega power 2020? Just now we have found it as omega. So omega square. Again omega plus omega square is equal to minus 1 because omega and omega square are cube roots of unity, and the condition for cube root of unity is omega plus omega squared plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore omega plus omega squared is equal to minus 1. Okay. So what is it? Option number 2. So option number 2 minus 1 is the answer for 21. Problem number 21. Then question number 22. The product of 4 values of cos pi by 3 plus I sin pi by 3 the whole power 3 by 4 is dash. And then the options are minus 2, minus 1, 1 and 2. So first of all we have to find its value, and then because it has a rational power and the denominator is 4, it has 4 values, and we have to find out the first of the 4 values and then you have to find its product. Okay. Now let us find the 4 values for this one. Cos pi by 3 plus I sin pi by 3 the whole power 3 by pi by 4 is now equal to, first you have to multiply 3, the integer power, using de Moivre's theorem. So 3 and 3 will get cancelled. It will be cos pi plus I sin pi the whole power 1 by 4. So when it is a rational, we have so many 4 values. To get that 4 values, we have to add one 2k pi, because directly cos pi plus I sin pi will be the principal argument. So by adding 2k pi we will get the 4 values. So we have to add 2k pi. Then again applying de Moivre's theorem, 4 will be multiplied with the argument, where k takes the value is restricted to 0, 1, 2 and 3. So only 4 values will be obtained by taking k as 0, 1, 2, 3. Otherwise if you take 4, 5, 6 etc., the same values will get repeated. Okay. So what are the 4 values? By substituting k as 0, it will be cos pi by 4 plus I sin pi by 4. I have written shortly as cis pi by 4. And then by taking k is equal to 1, it will be 2 pi plus pi 3 pi by 4. Instead of writing cos 3 pi by 4 plus I sin 3 pi by 4, I have written the short form as cis 3 pi by 4. And then by taking k is equal to 2, it will be cos pi by 4 5 pi by 4 plus I sin 5 pi by 4, that is cis 5 pi by 4. Then by taking k is equal to 3, 7, it will be 7 pi by 4, that is cis 7 pi by 4. So these are the 4 values for the given complex number. But you have to find out the product of these 4 values. So let us multiply this. If they are in the polar form. So when you multiply complex number in the polar form, what is the rule? Just you have to add the arguments. So let us add the arguments, that is pi by 4 plus 3 pi by 4, 5 pi by 4 plus 7 pi by 4. So the denominators being the same, adding the numerator we have 16 pi by 4, that is equal to 4 pi, cis 4 pi. So to get its value, let us rewrite it as cos 4 pi plus I sin 4 pi. But sin n pi is equal to 0 for all values of n. So this will be 0. So cos 4 pi means it lies in the, again cos 4 pi means it 2 complete revolutions. So it will be equal to 1. So 1 plus I0, that is equal to 1. So option number 3. Option number 3 is the answer for 22nd problem. Then problem number 23. If omega naught is equal to 1 is a cube root of unity and determinant 1 minus omega squared minus 1 omega squared 1 omega squared omega power 7 is equal to 3k, then k is equal to dash. Options are 1, minus 1, root 3i and minus root 3i. Say as omega is a cube root of unity, you can write the condition, you can use the condition as either omega cube is equal to 1 or 1 plus omega squared is equal to 0. Okay. So the given determinant, we have 1 minus omega squared minus 1 and omega power 7 which is greater than omega power 3. So let us replace these two values. Now minus omega squared minus 1 means again from this condition If we take minus outside, it will be 1 plus omega squared. 1 plus omega squared is nothing but minus omega. So minus of minus omega is omega. So in this determinant, this value is replaced by omega. Again, as here the power is greater than 3, we can replace it by either by omega or omega square by splitting like this. Omega power 7 is nothing but omega power 6 into omega. Omega power 6 is nothing but 1, so it will be equal to omega. So we can replace these two values by omega and here also by omega. We get the determinant as such. Okay. After simplifying this and equate it to 3k, we can get the value of k. So use the properties of determinants. Now let us add the 3 rows and write it as a first row. That is R1 goes to R1 plus R2 plus R3. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 3 and 1 plus omega squared, and here also 1 plus omega squared plus omega squared. Why we are adding? Because 1 plus omega squared is 0. So we are getting some more zeros so that the evaluation will be easy. So by adding the 3 rows, we get the first row as 3 and 0, 0 as 1 plus omega squared as 0. And the second row as such, okay, and third row as such. And then as we got 2 zeros, let us expand along the first row. So 3 into omega squared minus omega power 4. Again this is greater than 2. So let us split this as omega power 4 as omega cube into omega. Omega cube is 1, so it will be equal to omega. So this will be omega squared minus omega. But the value of this determinant is given as 3k. That is given as 3k in the given problem. So equate it to 3k. So 3 into omega squared minus omega is equal to 3k. Therefore, omega squared minus omega is equal to k. But it is not given in the form omega square or omega. It has been given some values, root 3i. So let us replace the values of omega and omega square. So as it is, they are the cube roots. Omega squared will be minus 1 by 2 minus I root 3 by 2. And the value of omega is minus 1 by 2 plus I root 3 by 2. So on subtracting these two, minus of minus 1 by 2 is plus 1 by 2. Minus 1 by 2 will get cancelled. And minus I root 3 by 2 minus I root 3 by 2 is minus 2 into I root 3 by 2. Again 2 and 2 get cancelled. What would be the value of k? Minus I root 3. That is nothing but fourth option. So the answer for the question number 23 is fourth option. Then question number 24. The value of 1 plus root 3i by 1 minus root 3i the whole power 10 is dash. That is cis 2 pi by 3, cis 4 pi by 3, minus cis 2 pi by 3 and minus 6 4 pi by 3 are the given 4 options. So you have to find its value and then 4 values. Okay. So let us take the given complex number without the power. That is take the complex number inside the bracket as 1 plus root 3i, 1 minus root 3i. Let us simplify this. Okay. But we know that omega and omega square is 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 plus root 3i by 2 and minus 1 by 2 minus root 3i by 2 represent omega squared. So let us rewrite this by multiplying a minus to the numerator and denominator and also dividing the numerator and denominator by 2. Small adjustment. So what happened to the numerator? Minus 1 by 2 minus root 3i by 2 and denominator will be minus 1 by 2 plus root 3i by 2. So this is nothing but omega squared and this will be omega. So the given complex number reduces to omega. So to take the power means it is simple, no? By taking the whole power instead of finding out and taking the power, it will be easy if you convert this to omega. So it will be omega power 10. Omega power 10 is nothing but omega power 9 into omega. So it is 1. So it will be omega. So what is omega? In the polar form, omega is expressed as cos 2 pi by 3 plus I sin 2 pi by 3. That is nothing but cis 2 pi by 3. So what is the answer for this one? Option number 1, cis 2 pi by 3. So instead of replacing it in the standard form, again converting into polar form, then applying the power, we get it easily just by doing a small adjustment as the values are equal to the values of omega and omega square, the cube roots of unity. Question number 25, the last one. If omega equal to cis 2 pi by 3, then the number of distinct roots of modulus of z plus 1 omega squared omega z plus omega squared 1, sorry, not modulus, determinant of z plus 1 omega squared omega z plus omega squared 1 omega squared 1 z plus omega equal to 0 is dash, and the options are 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let us take the given determinant. As we have 1 omega square in each row, let us add the row wise. Let us do the operation row wise operation. So R1 goes to R1 plus R2 plus R3. We have Z plus 1 plus omega squared. Again here Z plus 1 plus omega squared. Again here Z plus 1 plus omega squared. So the first row becomes like this. Okay. As 1 plus omega squared is 0 because the value of omega is 2 pi by 3. This is nothing but cube root of unity. So 1 plus omega squared is 0. So we have only Z. The first row becomes Z. Okay, Z. And then second row and third row as such. Now again to get so many zeros in order to evaluate the determinant, let us subtract the second column and the first column, that is C2 goes to C2 minus C1 and column operation C3 goes to C3 minus C1. So you have to keep C1 as such and C2 goes to C2 minus C1 means subtract the column 1 from the column 2. So Z minus Z 0, Z plus omega squared minus omega and 1 minus omega squared. Again in order to make this one as 0 we have to subtract C1 from C3. So it will become C3 becomes 0, 1 minus omega and Z plus omega minus omega squared. So as we have two zeros in the first row, let us expand this determinant using the first row. So Z into Z plus omega squared minus omega into Z plus omega minus omega squared minus of 1 minus omega squared into 1 minus omega. So how we are going to simplify the terms inside the bracket means here Z plus omega squared minus omega and here the sign of omega and omega squared gets interchanged. So let us take one minus sign outside so that it will become omega squared minus omega. Here let us multiply. So 1 into 1 1 and 1 into omega minus omega into 1 minus omega and 1 into minus omega squared minus omega into minus omega squared is plus omega cube. This is in the form a plus b and a minus b. So what is its product? A squared minus b squared. So a being Z squared and b being omega squared minus omega. This will be minus of omega squared minus omega the whole square. And here 1 minus omega squared, omega cube is nothing but 1. So Z squared minus omega squared minus omega the whole square, expand it using a minus b the whole square. So omega power 4 plus omega squared minus 2 omega cube and then 1 plus 1 is 2. So evaluating the minus sign. So minus 2 multiplying with the minus sign, minus 2 plus 2 plus omega and plus omega squared. Again replace the values if it is more than 2. So Z squared minus omega power 4 is nothing but omega and then minus omega squared and then minus into minus plus omega cube is being 1, it will be 2 minus 2 plus omega squared. So everything will get cancelled except Z squared. So already outside there is one Z. So Z into Z squared will be Z cube. So the determinant is given as 0. So that means the value of the determinant is also equal to 0. So Z cube is equal to 0 means Z will be equal to 0, that is thrice Z. 3 values will be there. So Z is equal to 0, 0, 0 3 times. So what would be the only distinct value means Z is equal to 0 is the only one distinct value. So 0 repeated 3 times. So the distinct value is only 1 which is nothing but 0. So option So how many distinct values are there? Only one distinct value is only one value is distinct. Okay. So the number of distinct roots of this determinant is only 1, that is option number 1. So that's all about complex numbers. So we'll see with another chapter in some next video. Dear children, third chapter complex numbers is given to you in 14 videos. Hope you have understood. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. Go through the topic well, work out the problems which are asked to do by yourselves. Okay? Wish you all the best. And thank you for watching this video patiently. Soon I will meet you with the fourth chapter inverse trigonometric functions in the next video. I thank the subscribers again.